what could constitute a special episode of In the Hunt when nothing's really going on? Of course, there's something going on. The 27th hottest coach in the NFL, Arthur Smith, has been hired as the offensive coordinator for the Steelers, and we needed an emergency pod to say how this is going to affect things. It's In the Hunt. It's special, right? Isn't that why we're here, guys? That's why we're here.
It's a special episode.
It's a
I
special
don't want to
episode.
be here.
Uh,
Not special to me.
you know, I don't. I didn't call this meeting, so are we gonna?
Yeah, we
Sean,
need to-
how do you want to do this? You're in charge of everything.
Well, we need to
You're-
let our fan
sure.
know we can't just have this happen without an announcement.
Yeah,
So that announcement is
I'm quitting the pod.
and now let's clear this up. Is this a bit?
No, this is not a bit.
Not a bit.
This is not a bit. And the way
Not a bit.
Sean thought, how can I best punish Greg for quitting the pod? I know, I'll make him do an episode of the pod. It's brilliant, and it's meanness.
I would get so many emails if we let you quit without saying goodbye.
So you would get an email?
Yeah, I don't want to deal with that.
I don't want to have to read and then respond to an email. This is not a surprise. This isn't a surprise if you listen to the episode we did after the windy New England loss. That was an episode where my wife actually came into the room, which I record podcast, and asked, "Are you okay?" Like, not in a like, "Wow, you're kind of messed up" kind of way, but like, do we need to call someone like that? If you've heard that episode, go back and listen to it. I don't know the date of that loss. Everything ended up being better the next time they played the Patriots, but that was I have not wanted to do this pod for 4 years.
Well, that game wasn't 4 years ago.
Yeah, but I didn't want to do it before that.
Oh,
I always told you.
okay.
Yeah, I never wanted to do the pod. I like talking to you guys. We're very good at it. A couple people listen. That's all good. I just don't. I just can't. I thought about doing this for another year and every week in the off season, and it's just not interesting to me. And one of the big things I said to Sean as he was trying to talk me out of this was,
I didn't talk you out of it at all. I very graciously accepted.
well, you were saying things like, okay, you just need a week off, like you
I
were
wanted
doing,
clarification.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not saying anything bad. But Sean was asking, like, is this like you taking a few weeks off? And I was like, when's it gonna end? Like, if I don't quit the pod, when is it done? Like, we're never gonna stop. You're never gonna stop doing the pod. A nice natural ending would have been the Bills won the Super Bowl this year. And it's like, okay. And I equated it to the Bachelor recaps I used to do. I recapped the Bachelor for 20 years, and I jumped back into it last year for the Golden Bachelor. But I hated doing it. But I just kept doing it, and I thought eventually ABC would just stop airing episodes of The Bachelor, and they just never did. So I was like, I just can't do this anymore. So it's kind of like the Bills. The Bills are just going to keep playing football. I thought eventually they'd win a Super Bowl, and I could be like, okay, they're not in the hunt anymore. They're the champions. I don't have to do this anymore. But they're just never going to win a Super Bowl. So I just don't want to talk about why they're not and what I would do to fix it, because I'm not fixing it. There's no fix. There's no thing that's going to change. They're just not going to win.
I like the idea of Greg watching the Bills and being like, well, this has to be over soon, right? So they're not going to keep doing this to us every year.
So some people thought that. Some people thought this would have been like, before they like lost 6 games or whatever, you would have thought going into the season, there was a chance they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or at least progress to the Super Bowl. That probably may have gotten me another year, maybe. I don't know. They're not going to beat the Chiefs. So, and it's not just like that they're not going to win the Super Bowl. I really, really dislike discussing things that would be different. And the whole off season is going to be like the draft and free agency, and they're fucked. But it's just, I haven't wanted to do that really at all. I get all just stressed about it, and they lose. And it seems like we're recording every single day. So I'm I just sound like the whiniest little bitch right now. I didn't know what I was going to say on this episode. You wanted to do it, so I'm doing it. I'm quitting the pod. I'm sorry, but I'm just a little whiny bitch right now. So yell at me or something. I don't know.
No one's yelling at you.
Well, no, the people are yelling at
they're there. Yeah.
Yeah. They're
So,
sending emails to inthehuntcast@gmail.com or whatever.
now Kyle's being very quiet because if
Yeah.
you're not watching the video, he's sobbing.
He's Googling replacement hosts. That's what he's doing. He's seeing what celebrities are available to fill in. Seeing if if T Swift is doing anything. Maybe that'll get you some listeners.
The
yeah.
Oh, you go ahead, Kyle.
No, Greg told me. Well, Sean told me because Greg is too much of a pussy to tell me.
That's not true.
This is like when your parents get divorced and they have to be like, "How do we tell them?" And they're like, "I'll tell them." Sean, I could see Sean being like, "Let me break it to him. I know how to calm him down." Our big boy. It's rubbing my head.
We went
Greg
to
is
ice cream.
leaving.
We got ice cream after. I was like, "Hey, nothing's changing. Greg and I still love you."
We ruffled his hair a little. It's okay, big guy. It'll be
This
okay.
did make me think of this question. Is it worse when your dad goes out for cigarettes and never comes back? Or if your dad's like, "I'm leaving on Thursday and I'm never coming back." And I don't know, because then you have all week to be like, was it me? Or why is he giving me a 2-week head? I feel sad now, like it's like I did something. But if he just left, like if Greg did that last pod and then was like, "When's our next one?" And we were like, "It's in 2 weeks for the season recap." And then just ghosted us forever, I'd be like, that's pretty funny.
I hope I'm still gonna talk to you two.
Even when
It's
I would
gonna be a lot less.
I would
fun.
see Greg out in public and I'd be like, "Hey man, what happened? You're not
What?
doing the pod?" And he'd be like, "What pod?" Like
Yeah,
it
what-
never happened.
Yeah.
Who's
Like the
Greg?
last 5 years, man.
I just somehow still saw you guys out in public, but somehow avoided ever talking about the fact that I'm not doing the pod anymore. That would have been the play. Oh, hold on, my phone's ringing. And just every time you brought that up, just change the subject so you just never get to ask me if I'm ever doing the pod again. So yeah, that would probably be worse. Like when dad goes out for cigarettes and you never hear from him and don't know why, at least you can hope he died and it wasn't you.
Yeah.
But if he says it's you and then leaves, then you know it's you. But it's not you. It's not. I had high stress telling you both that I wasn't doing the pod anymore because I know how much you love the pod.
Well, Sean loves the pod. I very much like it.
I like it too. I when Greg told me, I told this to Kyle when Greg was like, "I'm leaving the pod." I'm like, "Ooh, all that work going away? That doesn't sound not bad."
Well, no, so that's clarification. You guys are still doing the pod.
Yes, the pod is going
Yeah.
on with me and Kyle. We're gonna kind
We
of
will lose half of our listeners. And
So we're going from 4 to 2.
we're gonna have to, Sean and I are gonna have to take all that Patreon money and then do the whole buy followers thing. Because our combined is less than you, Greg. So thanks for tanking our livelihood.
I don't think you're gonna lose. I didn't do a ton of pods and those numbers were all still there. So
so we're doing the pod. We're gonna rotate kind of third chair. We'll have different people on, see what happens, and
who's replacing me?
no one
don't
can
know.
replace you.
We're
It's
doing a rotating. Sean and I have already said, and this is to you and the listeners. Sean and I have already said we are in no hurry to pick a replacement. We're gonna have, as Sean said, a rotating host, and that might even go into the season of just like who's available, who do we like? Because some people suck, some people don't suck, some people suck less, some people suck more. And we always want the suck less people.
It's
Wow,
like
we
a
have a
Kyle
motto.
Dr. Seuss.
One suck, two suck, red suck, blue suck.
We what else was I gonna say? Or yeah, and as Kyle alluded to, if we don't know how many people are here for just Greg's negativity, if the numbers go down, we'll just stop doing it at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers went down a little bit this year, I think, because the Bill season was just icky for a lot, to use
I would think that would make the numbers go up. I do not. Chris Parker and Mike Shope are two of my closest friends. I love listening to them on the radio. I have not listened to WGR, and I love the morning show, Joe and Jeremy too. I have not listened to WGR since the game because I just can't stand the chatter about shit. Like I don't care whose fault it is. So that's, it's just exhausting to me and I don't want to hear anything about it. So I'd imagine there are people that just don't, even though we just kind of goof around and we don't get into X's and O's and all that stuff. But I imagine you'd have fewer people just because this season was shitty.
Yeah.
So, people that like me that don't want to dwell on that stuff.
So you will still be like watching games. You just kind of unplugging from the Monday morning quarterbackness of it all.
I'm less, I don't know, man. I'm old and I'm sick of like the Sabres is a good example from that. I don't even watch their games anymore. I just don't care. I'll check in every once in a while. And for instance, I found out today I had nothing to do tonight. And I was like, I wonder if there's a game. It's the freaking All-Star break. Like the fact that I don't know that it's the Sabres All-Star break. I like them more than the Bills. Like I want the Sabres to win a cup more than the Bills, but I just don't care anymore. And I wouldn't mind if football got to that end. I know that's got to be shocking if you're a Bills fan. Like, how could you not care about the Bills? I just don't want to. And that has a lot to do with this. And maybe I won't. I mean, I really, really want them to win when I watch them, but I'd love it if it didn't like bother me that much when they lose. So
I have a question, Greg, and I think I know the answer. What hurt you more season after season? This past 6 years or the drought? And the hope section of the drought, we'll say from Chan Gailey on, not those middle years where there was no hope. The actual like, oh, the team looks like it might be doing something into the Tyrod Taylor years and shit like that.
What hurt more? Like losing
what hurt more season
games?
to season? Because this seems to be like really these past 6 years of losing the playoffs or whatever, 3-4 years seems to be dragging you down more than just wins and losses.
Yeah, I would say the last, 4 years where they were good is more of a sting. I'd rather this than, and that's one of the like, not just not watching football, but changing like my perspective on it. The fact that like they're good, they're always going to be good. We can enjoy this, and if they lose, whatever. The drought years, you had no hope, so it sucked. And if we were still in the drought and we didn't get Josh Allen, I wouldn't have been doing the pod like for this long, I don't think, because it's like, well, what's the hell's the point? Like there's nothing to talk about. They just suck that bad. Maybe it would have been like joking, but like to do it every week to talk about a team that was going to finish 6-11. No, like I'm not doing that. So there was something to talk about with the team being good. That being said, like you think about the window, you think about Allen's another year older, the salary cap's now screwed. So this one stings the most because of that. But I'm not quitting because of that. It seemed like the time to quit. I don't know.
Well,
I feel so self-absorbed even talking about this. I don't like this at all because who gives a shit? I'm just not doing a podcast anymore. This is the whitest thing anyone's ever done. Have an episode where they say they're quitting a podcast. Like, holy shit, I'm the worst human being that ever lived. But I want to say I didn't do this. Like I didn't want to have this episode. I don't care that I'm doing it. It's the last episode. So if it helps, whatever, if people care, that's great. But I'm not like, I feel like such an asshole doing this. Does that make sense? Does any of that make sense? I don't even know. Did I answer your question?
A couple of things is the Sabres thing I agree with is so sad. Like, because I'm the same way. I'll like when their schedule comes out, I'm like, oh, they have games this. I'll like kind of put it in my calendar. Oh, could I watch some of these games? And then every year by like December 15th, I'm like, who gives a fuck? And like once a month I check in and it's like so painfully sad.
I do think that they have I think they're in better shape than the Bills. They have so many good young players and they're all like 21 years old and they have more prospects. So I know, but there's it seems like if you just like fire a coach or something, the NHL, you could all of a sudden be good. It's not like they're useless like they were pre Jack Eichel. They don't have nothing. They have something. So I was trying to describe like where I'm at with just not wanting to give a shit about football and how stupid the sport is. So I haven't written my Patreon blog this week. I feel like I peaked at the porn, but I had this idea milling around, so I still haven't finished it. But like Basically, it's just how stupid football is. And I always say that sentence. I always say this is a dumb sport that we care so much about. But you think about how bad the Bills were. You mentioned Chan-Gailey. You mentioned the really bad Dick Duran years and the Mike Mularkey years and how bad they were. They'd lose games and there was no hope. But they weren't losing games by 30. They were still in those games. As bad as that team was, with as bad as their quarterbacks were, with Billy Joe Hobart, they were still only losing games by 4, 5, 6 points. And that's the NFL. They weren't going to win those games, but they weren't going to get blown out. And here we have the best quarterback we've ever seen, probably the best team the Bills have ever had. I will say, even like comparing that to the early 90s, I really did think that this team was really, really good. They weren't winning their games by 30. It was still, if they won, they would just pull these kind of most of the majority of the games out. And that's football. Like, everyone playing football is really, really good. So you have to get good enough to be lucky enough to just have everything break your way to win. And I don't believe in luck. I just think that's the math of it. And Kansas City they've had the result. So I don't think luck is the word. I think it's the result. Kansas City just always gets the result because they're really fucking good. And the Bills just aren't going to get that result because Kansas City's just a little bit better.
Well, and we've talked before on this pod, especially during losses, like it's important to not get too invested in the Bills. So if quitting the pod helps you get less invested, gives you a little bit more, go about your day without going crazy. I think that's a good thing.
This isn't a mental health break thing, though. This isn't like, I can't. I'm explaining that to someone who's listening. I know you know that, but like, there is a lot of time spent on this, and I do want to do other things. I'm trying to write another book and all that shit. And when I have to plug in and talk about another fucking loss and stuff like that, it's just like it drains me that way, and I don't want to do that. And I get frustrated, but it is really just a stopping point. I want to concentrate on other things. This pod is not all consuming, but it does seem like we record every single time I have some free time to do something else. That is not a knock on you, Sean. It's just the way the schedule works. And I swear to fucking God, if you guys want to tomorrow start a podcast on anything other than the Bills that just involves maybe like knocking out 3 episodes in one day and then not having to talk for another month about whatever that topic is, I am on board. Earthworms, fucking Kyle's face, I don't give a shit. I'll talk about anything you want, as long as it just wasn't this schedule and that team, because the combination of those two things is not about just the podcast. It's about the investment that you have to make, both emotionally and time wise.
That's true. And because of the way, football works, sometimes we could bank episodes, but a lot of times you're just like, you can't. You got to like wait a couple, time and then be like, oh, we got a new DC. Let's talk about that. And, it's kind of all consuming.
Yeah. I said to Greg too, and I said the only time I don't hate recording the podcast is when we're actively recording the podcast. And I think that encapsulates it too. And that's just my pure laziness. Again, like this isn't like we do an insane amount of research for our podcast or whatever. We struggle to get 45 minutes in sometimes on episodes, but the pure laziness of me of just being like, it does suck a little bit of when you go to, maybe you're out watching a game at a friend's house or a bar, and then everyone's like, all right, well, you want to order pizza or get something to eat or go hang out. And you're like, I got to go home to record a podcast. And that feeling, sometimes I'm like, I got to go. Or the feeling of being at a game, sitting in traffic for an hour and a half, coming home, showering, and being like, now I have to record a podcast, is a little, sometimes I'm like, just fucking shoot me right now. And, like we said before, we know that if the game's on Sunday, recording Sunday night's the best time. So we can't always just be like, let's do it Monday. Because by Tuesday, someone's like, yeah, I don't want to listen to them anymore. Like the game happened 2 days ago. I don't give a fuck. So, but again, that's just me being a baby. And maybe cut that part out.
My wife does not care that I do a podcast. She really doesn't. It doesn't affect her. I think she's happy if I'm happy doing stuff like this. But the number of times she would just like fell asleep on the couch at like 8:30, and I had to go up to the office to record at night, and she wakes up to me screaming, "It's been a while!" Like it's just like she doesn't like ever say, "Come on." But I know like that has to be so annoying to wake up to me screaming like about I don't know, Robert Royal or something like that. Like that's it's always so fucking inconvenient.
Just some housekeeping for patron members. Greg wrote a weekly blog. Obviously, that's gone. So because Kyle and I aren't writing a weekly blog. I'll tell you that much. So the $1 tier will just be to support the podcast. We'll still throw fun things up there. With the occasional contest, free helium tickets. But if I'll send everyone a message if you feel gypped at all. Will you could cancel. That's fine. I mean, we appreciate don't, but we'd understand if you were. That's why
if you're a big Bowhead and you don't like Sean and I,
stick with these guys. They're great. When I left GR, people still listen to Show Up in the Bulldog. I still listen to Show Up in the Bulldog. So.
Now, Greg, here's an important announcement. Will you make guest appearances?
No. Like absolutely not. Like we can talk about this off the air, but no. I'm quitting the pod. Like I don't want to do the pod.
Quick deal. If they make it to the Super Bowl, you have to come on for the preview.
Oh God. For the preview? You want to do a preview episode? No, you do the episodes after. So you do the AFC Championship post, like the post game of the AFC Championship.
And then you talk about that. So no, I'm not because
here you go. You're already starting. It's like do after that episode, then we have to preview the Super Bowl. You're already trying to get me.
No, that's the same one. That's the same one. It's the preview of the Super Bowl, and then if they win, you have to come on again. If they lose, we won't bug you to come on for the review.
I feel like that would be cheating, though. Like I feel like that would be a dick move.
I'm just trying to get you back on.
No, a little bit. But honestly, like if the Bills win the AFC Championship game next year against the Houston Texans, and I come on, and then they win the Super Bowl over the Green Bay Packers, and I come on, I feel like it was like, oh, this asshole quits the whole year, and now he just comes on when things are good. He's a bandwagon fair weather fan.
Greg, we started this pod when Tyrod Taylor was the quarterback. People will never call us bandwagon fans. Not everyone else did that. Check everyone else's start date. Those motherfuckers did that after Josh Allen got good. We started that when Tyrod Taylor was throwing 3-yard slants to fucking out of Charles
Robert
Clay.
Royal.
Okay.
Charles Clay. That's it. I was confused. Charles Clay and Robert Royal. That's such a perfect Tyrod Taylor 3-yard pass to Charles Clay. That is just such a perfect, like that should be the name of the book that about the drought years for the Bills. So
we
3-yard pass to Charles Clay.
We started this podcast with multiple. In our second year, we had multiple episodes of Josh Allen is going to be bad. Why did we draft him?
Yeah, we have the receipts.
I quickly to interrupt.
Oh,
I think Greg
have more housekeeping.
I think Greg will be back here. I mean, we might do a summer drafting the hottest QBs. You tell me you and your little wiener doesn't want to be a part of that?
I'll give you.
If it's not about the Bills, you wouldn't.
If it's not a game recap, and I'm not doing something, and I'm in bed like hurt, like I can't do anything else, and it is something really dumb like the hottest coaches. And I don't have to do any work. And yes, I will do 2 episodes.
Okay.
I
just want to give some hope out there for the fans. You're not doing us any favors, Greg. I just want to give the fans some hope.
You want to do a strictly hot coach pod like that? We change the name to Hotties on the Sidelines, and we just do that. I'm in. I'll find the sponsors. I'll go straight to Manscaped and get this shit funded. So.
And by the way, we've been doing this 7 years.
That's insane.
2017.
It's too much. It's for sure too much.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. That's now you see. Now I'm pulling Kyle.
Yeah.
Come on, Kyle. Come on, Kyle. Come on. Come on, Kyle.
Sean,
he's gonna keep texting you. Come on, Kyle.
Before your surprise, can I read a letter I wrote to Greg?
Absolutely.
All right. So as we found out last week by me saying I wrote a letter to Greg, I put into ChatGPT a goodbye to Greg for quitting the podcast.
At least it's going to be read by Kyle. So could you extract this and give this to me?
This is ChatGPT Subject, a fond farewell to Greg. A podcast journey remembered. Dear Greg, as I pen down this farewell letter,
Oh, wow.
it's with a mix of emotions that I bid you adieu from our beloved podcast. Your time with us has been nothing short of extraordinary, and your departure leaves a void that will be hard to fill. From the very first episode to the countless moments of laughter, insight, and camaraderie, your presence has been the heart and soul of our podcast. I don't know about that, but your unique blend of humor, wit, and genuine passion for the topics we covered turned every recording session into a memorable experience. Your storytelling, prowess, and ability to connect with our audience brought a special magic to our podcast that won't easily be replicated. Listeners have come to appreciate not just the content, but the genuine enthusiasm and authenticity you brought to each episode. While we are sad to see you go, we understand that life's journey takes unexpected turns. As you step away from the mic and venture into new horizons.
How long is this?
It's long, but we got time. It's your last episode. The memories we've created together, the laughs shared, and the lessons learned will live on in the hearts of our listeners and fellow co-hosts. That's Sean and I. As you embark on this new chapter, we wish you every success, joy, and fulfillment in your endeavors. Your passion for storytelling and connecting with people is a gift, and we have no doubt that wherever life takes you, you'll continue to make a significant impact. Thank you, Greg, for the laughter, the insight, and the wonderful moments we've shared with you on this podcast journey. Though our paths may diverge, the echoes of your voice and the spirit infused into your show will linger on. Here's to the next adventure, Greg. Maybe it will be as extraordinary as the stories you've shared with us. Farewell, and take on the future with the same charisma and zest that defined your time with us. Best regards, your name, Kyle Turner.
So you don't even know my personal battle against AI and Chat GPT, like how much I'm in marketing and I'm writing and stuff like that. And that, like, people are just using that, how much I hate artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence writing. And that's just like, that was so fucking bad, but the words were all kind of like English. So people use that. That was the shittiest thing ever. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Giant,
did you
shitty reminder of how bad
better?
AI is. No, it was absolutely perfect. It was that Kyle took the easy way out, and also AI fucking sucks. So that was perfect.
And what Greg isn't saying is he's actually leaving the pod to do a In the Hunt Dolphins podcast. he's turning fandoms.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about Tua. Talking Tua is going to be the name of it. So even when he's not in the league in 2 years anymore. I have 3 genuine things that I'll miss about the podcast.
Okay.
It's probably more that I'll think of later, but these are the 3 main things I'll miss most about recording an In the Hunt podcast with Sean and Kyle. And these are actually genuine.
Okay. I like
One is Sean's trivia. Sean is good at trivia. They come out of nowhere. I'm never prepared for it. I genuinely want to win and very seldom do, although I finished on a hot streak. Lost the last one. But anyways, the trivia is one. The Yo Mama joke, New England Patriot preview, just the fucking best radio you'll ever hear in your entire life. And the third one is, and I will genuinely miss this sincerely, Kyle's live reads for Revolver Records, and just the journey that ensues when Kyle has to, on the spot, read a live read for Revolver Records. So those 3 things in that order, and so maybe some other stuff. And our fans.
So we know the final, because I kept count like a psycho. The final trivia score. Greg.
Oh no! Did you really?
Check this out, Greg. You have 74 victories. Kyle, 73.
The real reason I'm quitting the pod. That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Son of a bitch. This is your Super Bowl, huh?
So now I'm never coming back. Like,
Yeah, you
special
can't
try
risk
and do
it.
trivia, and I'm
You
not.
can't risk
no.
it.
I gotta
It's
go on
crazy
a
that
job.
we're equally bad.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
all that means because it's you versus me. So someone's got to win, and we're
Yeah.
both equally shitty at it.
Yeah, we suck.
Well, I have a surprise now too, and
I don't know what
I'm-
this is, so I'm excited.
I'm
He didn't tell me.
grateful that Kyle didn't steal too much of my thunder.
I was waiting for a boat horn.
So, Kyle, you don't know this, but last night Greg left me a voicemail.
No, I did not.
So
I believe
I'm
you,
gonna
Sean.
I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play that right now. Hopefully you guys can hear this.
Hi, it's me, Greg. That's right. Sean found a program online and made a voice clone of Greg. And listen, I'm quitting the pod, but it's okay. We had a good run, and my bone spurs just hurt too much. I do want to say that Sean is the hottest and smartest. We all know this. Sometimes the pod is like when your grandma's dying and you have to go see her. You don't want to, and you feel better afterwards, but it's just sometimes a drag. It's like that Meg Ryan movie, You've Got Mail, and sometimes you're just sick of getting mail, and you just want to get railed by Tom Hanks. So I'm going to go get railed by Tom Hanks. And hey, don't cry. I'm sure I'll be back here and there, and I'll be like, it's SS has been a wild icky, but for now, we don't.
So,
Oh my god, dude!
Fuck.
I would sue somebody.
That's a deep
crazy.
fake.
That's terrifying.
so a
That's
couple-
terrifying.
A couple things. One is that's terrifying. I made that like in an hour with a free trial on some program I found online. You feed in a voice, you say you have consent, and then you type in a little script and get it to say what you want it to.
Oh boy, man!
That's
It had
crazy.
even his like little mannerisms of sometimes like skipping a word or like stopping to think real quick. Like that
8
was
seconds
crazy.
in, I was like, okay, that doesn't exactly sound like me, but like 5 seconds in, I thought, what did he grab a recording of me for? Like, I thought that was me to begin with, and I was like, oh no, what did I say that's about to come back and bite me in the
If
ass?
that was a voicemail, I'd be like, Greg is high right now. Greg had took
Sounds
drugs
like hi, Greg.
and butt
Yeah.
dialed me.
Well, here's probably the most important takeaway is AI cannot yet sing It's Been a While.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Is that what that was? That was
Yeah.
me. That part was me trying to sing It's Been a While. Yeah. Well, something to shoot for in the future, Elon. Get robots to sing Stained songs.
And just quickly to add on, Greg, I don't know if you know this, but Kyle actually also left me a voicemail.
Oh, this is tremendous.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear this.
So let me play that.
It's me, Kyle, and you know, I gotta get something off my chest here. I don't actually watch the all 22s. I just kind of say some shit. Sorry, and
God.
this hurts. But that's not all. The keys to the game. I don't know how much those would really help. I mean, some of them rule, dude, but a lot of them are just too wacky. I don't know. I do love Joe B, though. That's true. Okay, before I go, if you see me in public, give me a big ol' hug. I love that and being in touch with my emotions. Later. So
So
That's so fucking good.
Man.
We're all
each
gonna-
one had a hint of Kermit in there. But
Yeah, a little
very
bit.
still, like I said, if you called my mom, you could have a full conversation. She would have no idea.
Just spit all over them. That's why I hate AI. It's
Yeah.
gonna ruin everything. We're all screwed.
like I had fun making that, but I was also like, wow, this is terrifying. If I
Yeah.
can do that within an hour, as a free trial, dear Lord.
Yeah.
It's not just
like
what
you
you
can
can-
almost affect an election or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not just what you can do, it's what you can now say. Like, let's just say I called and threatened my wife, and then the next day she ended up dead. Like, let's say I left my wife a voicemail. It was like, you fucking bitch, I'm gonna kill you. And then like hung up, and then she ends up dead. And then they play that at the trial, and I can be like, that's not me, that's AI. That
Oh, wow.
sounds like it. So like it's
Terrifying.
the yeah.
Why would you give people that idea?
Yeah, that's right. Well,
What do
I
you
mean,
think people are
they're
going to do
have-
to you when they find out you quit the pod?
That's
I'm going
right,
to kill
yeah.
you, man.
That's right. All the people threatening me. are gonna
Greg
get
called his
receipts.
own phone, left a voicemail talking about killing himself, then killed himself with a
Yeah.
sword.
They knew they would know it wasn't me though, because part of the trial would me be singing "It's Been a While," and they can't do that. Like I can't do that. So anytime I'm leaving someone a voicemail, I'm gonna sing "It's Been a While" because I
That's
know
smart.
then it's not a robot.
It's yeah.
It's
like
the
a-
watermark seal.
What I was just gonna say, it's a watermark.
That's great.
Hi, Mom. It's been a while. Happy Mother's Day. Okay, that was really Greg. That makes me feel so good. So, yeah.
And then you'd have someone like be like, I'm coming back to do the pod. It's me, Greg. Hey, it's been beating me. You're like, oh no, that's not Greg.
I can't wait till the Bills open the season next year against the Jets and be like, hey, what do you think about the game? Well, they won the game, and like you're just going to use AI Greg next
He
year.
got us.
Yeah. If not enough people listen to this episode, you can get away with it. It sounds just like me. You can definitely do an episode or two without Kyle. That sounded exactly like him.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I have actual work to do. I'm at work. I have to do work.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Greg, thanks for doing the pod with us for 7 years. I think we had some good times. We will miss you, and hopefully we will see you here and there if you decide that you'd like to, especially for a hot quarterback.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. That's all I'll say. And I appreciate people that listen to this pod. I have no idea why you would. But I sincerely like that people did and heard good things about it. And that was awesome. But yeah.
Yeah, I think people are going to miss you. People like, when you're in someone's ear every week for 7 years, I think there's a connection is formed.
Well, I will tell you, I'm still doing dumb shows and I'm still writing dumb shit. Just, it'll be more about earthworms.
There we go. Love it.
All right. Sweeto.
And final Sweeto for Greg, and we close with a new Tom song to the Green Day. I hope you had the time of your life.
Are you serious? You got to be fucking kidding me. So many surprises. Good.
So enjoy that, and Greg, give a final without me talking over it. A final Sweeto to the people out there.
Sweeto.
Another season ends, a fork stuck in the pot. Greg shouts into the void and shakes his fist at God. He's not just sick of pods and Sean being hostile. It's not the question game or bitchy little Kyle. It's something about Buffalo and singing, it's been a while. As Greg said, no pod for the last time. It's something so predictable, the Bills can't get it right. But I hope you had the pod of your life. Bye, Greg.